Robert.
I didn't do this stuff. This is not me, y'all. I'm fighting for my life. Y'all me with this. I gave y'all 30 years of my career.
Robert.
30 years of my career. Y'all trying to me. You me, man. This is not about music. I'm trying to have a relationship with my kids.
17:11 17 minutes, 11 seconds. Music. And if Kelly's got access to contracts, to payments, to records of who was where and when, then the FBI might not be the only ones interested in what he has to say. Because the 117:20 17 minutes, 20 seconds thing these men fear more than prison is exposure. And if Kelly's telling the truth, if there really is a plot to silence him, then the question isn't just about what he knows. It's about 17:28 17 minutes, 28 seconds who's willing to do whatever it, music, takes to make sure he never talks. And that's what makes this story so much
R. Kelly was saying that Jay-Z funded his downfall plus the documentary
bigger than just one man's downfall. 17:35 17 minutes, 35 seconds because this isn't just about R. Kelly or Diddy or even Jay-Z. This is about an entire industry that was built on silence, on complicity, on the idea that 17:43 17 minutes, 43 seconds as long as the money kept flowing, no one would ever ask too many questions. 17:47 17 minutes, 47 seconds, music. But here's the thing about secrets. They don't stay buried forever. 17:50 17 minutes, 50 seconds, and when they finally come to light, they don't just take down one man. They bring the whole house crashing down. 17:55 17 minutes, 55 seconds because if there's one thing
I think that they don't want, if they was in any of those freak off tapes, if they played a part in any of those Diddy sessions, they don't want it to get out to the general public to make up the
thing we've learned from the darkest chapters of hip-hop history, it's that the men at the top didn't get there by playing fair. They got there by making sure no 18:0318 minutes, 3 seconds one could ever touch them. But what happens when the one person who knows where all the bodies are buried is the one person they can't silence anymore? 18:0918 minutes, 9 seconds. So, here's where we leave you, because this story is far from over. The courts might have had their say. The trials might be wrapping up. The headlines might be moving on to the music, next 18:17 18 minutes, 17 seconds scandal. But the one question no one's asking, the one that could unravel it all, is still hanging in the air. What if R. Kelly isn't the villain in this 18:25 18 minutes, 25 seconds story? What if he's the witness? And more him. The narrative returns to Aaliyah, describing her as the one figure whose story continues to connect R. Kelly, Jay-Z, and Diddy decades later. It revisits the widely known controversy surrounding Aaliyah's marriage to R. Kelly when she was a teenager, including allegations that a fake identification was used to facilitate the marriage before it was later
outrageous, but he felt like Jay-Z wanted to get him for
annulled. The script notes that Aaliyah's family spent years trying to move beyond that painful chapter, and argues that her story represents more than an isolated tragedy. According to the narrative, it marked the beginning of a much larger web of power, influence, and silence within the music industry. The script goes on to speculate that Jay-Z and Diddy were not merely bystanders, but figures whose careers intersected with the same industry environment. It suggests that Aaliyah became caught in a system driven by business interests, power struggles, and influential relationships, where protecting reputations often took priority over confronting difficult truths. These claims
Jay-Z got his whooped by his sister-in-law on camera. What's her name? Solange. You got his ass. The feds ain't step in and do nothing. The feds don't care about you getting your ass whooped.
Remain unproven, but the narrative presents them as part of a broader theory about the industry's culture during that era. Attention then shifts to Damon Dash, Jay-Z's former business partner. According to the script, Dash reportedly opposed the Best of Both Worlds collaboration between Jay-Z and R. Kelly unless the project's profits were directed to the Aaliyah Foundation. The narrative interprets this as evidence that Dash may have been uncomfortable with the partnership, and speculates that he recognized warning signs others chose to ignore. In contrast, the script alleges that Jay-Z continued working with Kelly despite the controversy surrounding him, portraying that decision as one motivated by business rather than principle. The narrative argues that, if these allegations were true, continuing to collaborate with Kelly after years of public controversy would represent more than poor judgment. It suggests that financial interests outweigh. The script argues that this wasn't justice, it was an attempt to silence someone. It claims that while R. Kelly remains in prison, allegedly fearing for his life.
A compelling witness for the prosecution said that she actually walked in on R. Kelly performing a sex act with Aaliyah when she was either 13 or 14 years old. We then heard from one of his employees that at the age of 15, he bribed an official in Illinois to get a fake ID so that Aaliyah could marry R. Kelly at the time, who was 20.
Diddy faces the consequences of his legal troubles. Jay-Z appears to be the only major figure left untouched. The narrative presents this contrast as suspicious and suggests that his continued distance from controversy raises important questions. The discussion then shifts to the public conversation surrounding Diddy's case. According to the script, while most people are focused on the trial and its outcome, Jay-Z's name continues to surface in related discussions. It points to an old interview in which Nas questioned whether anyone working closely with R. Kelly could have been unaware of the allegations surrounding him. The script presents this interview not simply as a personal attack, but as an early warning.
Allegedly, Sean Carter is responsible for enacting Hype Williams to put Aaliyah on a faulty plane, to move her out the way as punishment for rejecting him, and so he could level up Beyonce.
That may carry greater significance today, with Kelly's legal team now claiming he possesses highly damaging information. The narrative asks what Jay-Z may have known, and why he appears to have emerged from the situation without facing similar scrutiny. The script also revisits allegations surrounding Diddy's so-called freak-off parties. While the legal proceedings have largely centered on testimony involving Cassie Ventura, the narrative asks who else may have attended those gatherings. It argues that influential figures rarely operate alone, and suggests that if Kelly possesses recordings, messages, or personal knowledge about the people involved, those details could potentially implicate others connected to the same social circles. According to the script, power in the music industry has never been solely about
You're a
wealth.
halfway intelligent person. When do you start questioning how lucky some keep getting?
Right.
It has also been about controlling information and keeping damaging secrets hidden. The narrative then summarizes the current situation. A convicted predator in solitary confinement claiming someone wants him dead. A music mogul facing the consequences of his own criminal casts. We've all heard the stories about R. Kelly, the trials, the convictions, and the decades of allegations that finally caught up with him. But what if the real story isn't about what R. Kelly did, but about what he allegedly knows? While the world was focused on locking him away, the script suggests that few people were paying attention to the possibility that he may be holding secrets capable of shaking the foundations of the music industry. This isn't framed as a story about old rumors or forgotten headlines. Instead, it points to recent court filings, alleged prison developments, and a series of events whose timing raises new questions. According to the script, R. Kelly is no longer just fighting for his freedom. It claims he is sitting on a stockpile of information that could implicate some of hip-hop's most powerful figures, including Jay-Z and Diddy. The narrative argues that if these allegations are true, those connected to Kelly's past may have reason to worry about what he could reveal. The story begins with recent legal filings made by Kelly's attorneys,
Like
who
the
allege
days before the event, he was getting threats that he felt like was coming from Jay-Z. Like Jay-Z was trying to basically
there's an active plot to silence him permanently. These claims go beyond a general conspiracy theory. According to the motion, prison officials allegedly worked with members of a white supremacist gang to ensure Kelly would never leave prison alive. The script emphasizes the timing of these allegations, suggesting they surfaced shortly after Kelly reportedly began hinting that he possessed damaging information about influential people in the entertainment industry. The script further claims that Kelly was hospitalized after collapsing in his prison cell. His legal team alleges that he was intentionally overdosed and later placed in solitary confinement, leaving him isolated from the outside world. His attorneys argue that these actions were designed to prevent him from speaking publicly about what he knows. Meanwhile, prosecutors reportedly dismissed the allegations as a fanciful conspiracy. 11:15 minutes, 15 seconds the nines. Aaliyah. Now we've all heard the whispers about her marriage to Kelly when she was just music 15. How he allegedly bribed officials for a fake 11:22 minutes, 22 seconds ID. How the marriage was annulled in a panic. How her family, music, spent years trying to
Sweetest person you could know. Very intelligent. She knew what she was about and she knew what she wanted to do with her life.
Erase the whole nightmare from history. But here's what no one's talking about. The way Jay-Z 11:30 minutes, 30 seconds and Diddy are both tangled up in that legacy, not as bystanders, but as men who allegedly helped shape it and then walked away when it got too hot. Because 11:38 minutes, 38 seconds, let's be real. Aaliyah wasn't just Kelly's victim. She was a pawn in a much bigger game. One that involved record deals, power plays, and a level of 11:45 minutes, 45 seconds silence that only comes when the people at the top have something to hide. 11:56 minutes, 56 seconds. Oh, let's start with Damon Dash because he's the one who refused to play along. When Jay-Z and Kelly were cooking up best of both worlds.
It's malicious. But maybe that was because he was a girl that didn't want you.
Oh.
Dash, Jay's own business 12:0412 minutes, for Seconds partner at the time, allegedly put his foot down. He didn't just walk away from the project. He demanded that any profits go straight to the Aaliyah Foundation. Music. Now why would he do 12:12 minutes, 12 seconds that unless he knew something the rest of us didn't? Unless he saw the red flags waving in his face, and decided he wanted no part of it. But Jay-Z, he 12:20 minutes, 20 seconds allegedly didn't blink. Music. He moved forward with Kelly anyway. Even after Aaliyah's tragic end. Even after the rumors about what really went on in 12:27 minutes, 27 seconds those studio sessions. Even after the world knew exactly what kind of...
I don't think they are scared of him. I think they more so, they don't want him to embarrass their reputation and things that they've been known for. You understand?
Man Kelly was. Music. And that's not just a betrayal of Aaliyah's memory. That's a 12:35 minutes, 35 seconds calculation because Jay-Z didn't just ignore the warnings. He allegedly profited from music them. And if that doesn't make your stomach turn, ask 12:42 minutes, 42 seconds you.
So what happens now is this is simply a civil complaint. And in a civil complaint, it goes through the technical legal process. Now, the distinction, Jessica, between civil and criminal, of course, is that civil is for monetary damages, right? The system can only reward you with money. There's allegations that this 13-year-old is suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder, suffered depression, etc. So now you go to fact